Welcome back to the Bible Reading Project. It is Hump Day Wednesday. Our friend Ryan Holdeman, hoping to inspire you to read your Bible every single day. Zero excuse. Red letters of Jesus.
Jesus the Christ.
Roja. I need to learn that in Spanish. I'm going to do it this week. I'm going to learn red letters of Jesus in Spanish. I think red is roja.
Yeah.
And then letters of
Rojo.
Rojo.
Yeah.
Rojo de Jesus. I don't know what letters it. I wish I did. I'm learning Spanish. Did you know I'm learning Spanish?
I did not know that.
Dude, I am learning Spanish. I downloaded an app.
Good job.
I downloaded the Spanish Bible.
All right.
I have always had a bucket list to go to a Spanish country, to preach Jesus, to talk to people in their own language.
Okay.
I have got people on my team helping me.
Nice.
I learn a couple of phrases a day.
Nice.
I learn a couple of words a day.
Okay.
And my goal is by next summer, I'm going to be able to speak Spanish.
Dude, that's awesome.
Isn't that awesome? Like I'm going to be at, can you picture this? We're on the beach.
Yeah.
60 kids.
Right.
And I show up, ¿Dónde está el baño? And I just, the whole week long, I speak Spanish. And y'all just have to figure out what in God's name is he saying, right?
He's
I
crazy.
cannot wait. I'm excited about it. I got some Spanish friends that are going to hook a brother up, and I'm excited about it. So feel free if you want to drop some knowledge, like words.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like I'm having to rethink some things because I got a book called 501 Verbs.
Nice.
And Lord Jesus, it's
A
got...
lot of verbs.
I got to know what kind and what plural. And
Right.
so I just decided rather than learning all that, I'm going to do what kids do. They don't learn verbs first. They just learn to talk.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to learn to talk. And so I'm trying to do that. So
Fun story about me.
lay it on me. You speak English?
I do speak
Oh,
English.
awesome. Love it.
I fairly well.
Yeah, sort of good.
In my senior year of high school, you needed 2 Spanishes or 2 foreign languages to graduate. But if you took 3, you could graduate with honors. So I was like, I'm going to go for the honors.
Yeah.
I hate Spanish, but
Yeah.
why not?
Why not?
So I'm like, I get into Spanish 3 my senior year, and I do terrible. I do so bad. I get a 16% in the class for the whole year.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And then graduation, I'm not expecting to even graduate with barely passing. I got a 16%. I expected to bring my GPA down. Graduated with honors still.
Dude. And I love it. That's why I knew you were my best friend. You flunked a class and still graduated with
that's
honors.
pretty awesome.
Red letters of Jesus.
Yes.
Let's jump in. Luke 2:41. I hope you're learning stuff. Again, tell everybody what we're doing. It's a little different. Kind of update everybody what's going on.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance, if you're watching on Instagram, you can check the link out in the bio. If you're watching on YouTube, down below, there's a link for a daily devotional that kind of help inspire you to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a little something extra.
Hoping we'll all become a little more like Jesus through this. So let's do it. I'll read today. Same thing. We're reading the same thing, and we're just pulling it out a little deeper.
Yeah.
Here's where we've gone Monday. Life as usual needs to change to really get the purposes of God, and you need to break from some expectations of people and assumptions of people, and maybe where culture assumes of things, because what culture assumes of you and what God assumes of you, worlds apart. So let's jump in today. It's going to be really good on Hump Day. Verse 41, every year Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the Passover festival. When Jesus was 12 years old, they attended the festival. There's that as usual. After the celebration was over, they started home to Nazareth, but Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. His parents didn't miss him at first because they assumed, there's the assumptions, he was among other travelers. But when he didn't show up that evening, they started looking for him among their relatives and friends. And when they couldn't find him, they went back to Jerusalem to search for him there. Weird. They searched for him 3 days. You know, as a parent, it's got to be frustrating. Like you've lost God. Right?
Yeah.
Like Mary, you had one job.
Yeah, right.
Just raise baby Jesus. And Mary says yes to the baby, but now that he's 12, she loses him. That's got to be, and you know Joseph is like, oh, I'm screwed.
Sweating bullets.
Because you never hear about Joseph anymore.
Right.
I think, here's what I think. I think when Joseph lost him, Mary blamed Joseph. I can't believe you weren't keeping up with the kids. I asked you if he was on the camel. Right? You got to be married to appreciate that.
Yeah, right.
He's not showed up. I think at that moment, you never hear about Joseph anymore.
Yeah.
God probably killed him. You lost my child. And his bowels blow up or something. I don't know. That's got to be a weird feeling, right? Real quick, I'll keep reading. I got lost at Disney World one time.
Yeah.
My mom's like, you need to make sure you stay with us. And they got on the monorail and took off.
Yeah.
I didn't get on. I'm by myself.
Yeah.
All by myself. And they're at Disney World. All I could remember is, you ever get lost, stay where you were. So I just stayed there. My brother circles back around because they sent him back. Oh my God, go get him. First thing my brother says, what do you think a brother would say to a lost 8-year-old?
Glad
Stupid big fat redneck. Right? Gotta love that. So I kind of feel like that's probably how some of his relatives feel. You stupid little redneck Jewish boy, what are you? I just don't think it was as giddy as it reads, right? But so let's pick it back up. They finally find him in verse 46.
Yes.
They discover him in the temple. He was sitting among the religious teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. All who heard him, which is good. I'll talk about that and say, all who heard him were amazed at his understanding and his answers. His parents didn't know what to think. Son, his mother said to him, what have you done this to us? Your father and I have been frantic, searching for you everywhere. Why did you need to search? He asked. Didn't you know I must be in my father's house? But they didn't understand what he meant. And then he returned to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. And his mother stored all these things in her heart. And Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God. I want to pick out two things, and I want to throw a question to you.
Okay.
Verse 46, 3 days later, they finally discover him in the temple, sitting among the religious teachers. And I love this, listening to him and asking questions.
Right.
That's interesting. Do you know, I don't know, like many 12-year-olds that are really sitting around contemplating God.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of them are just contemplating themselves.
And what I'm going to eat and myself and my new game and a new Game Boy I got. And I was at 12 years old, I'm contemplating whether I'm going to get to kiss Donna, right? Stacy.
Yeah.
But yet the fact that this 12-year-old kid is contemplating questions about God tells me something, that in every child's heart, there's eternity.
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 says this, that God puts eternity into every heart. I think one of the saddest things we've done as parents and a generation of parents is we've put everything into the heart of our young children but God. We're putting sexual identity into them, sports, school, homework, and not understanding that in this 12-year-old kid, there comes this moment where there's the questioning of faith and the questioning of God and the connection to God, that void that would fill all humans. Jesus gives us insight that in his humanity, he's human and God.
Right.
There's something reaching out to know God. I believe that the devil, may sound really spiritual. I believe the devil understands that young children are reaching out to God.
Yeah.
But when you grow up in a home with no God, you grow up in a home that's just religious. We never talk about God. Daddy's never prayed. I've never seen him read his Bible. Mom occasionally says, pray over your PB&J. Right. I go to church and my youth pastor talks about God. But I know this about the system of culture we live in. They definitely know that there's value in that young soul.
Right.
I just shared a picture, a video today of, I got to go look it up real quick. It was a video that was put out. I got to pull it up in here and find it. There was a video put out by, oh gosh, I wish I could remember where it was. Yes, here it is. There is a video. I'll get to it. I'm going to pull it up real quick. So the Muppet Babies have now come out. I shared this on Instagram, Muppet Babies. Muppet Babies came out with this entire episode that was geared toward a transgender in the Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
And he was a boy that wanted to be a girl, and so they're just really going hard on it. You know, Muppet Babies kind of praising them. You be you. You're a boy. We assumed. There's the assumptions. We had assumptions that you were a boy, but you wanted to be a girl. We're so sorry. And you can watch it. I mean, it's just very much in your face of pushing a transgender moment. So I think the reason the world is working so hard to shift the perceptions is because they know that if I can get the young heart, the young mind, the young spirit and mold it, I have a better chance of moving my agenda forward.
Yeah, right.
You know, so down and all the way down into as young as we can get them, right? I think this 12-year-old Jesus teaches us something when they find him and he's having chats about God.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And then his mother says this is verse 50. He said, why did you look for me? And then he said, didn't you know I needed to be in my father's house? I mean, I need to be about my dad's business. Verse 50, let's read it. It says, but they didn't understand what he meant.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of that in this generation, that God is trying to do something in the hearts of young people. We just don't understand God. We understand everything else.
Right.
We understand culture. We understand football. We understand Netflix. We understand, all the games that we play, and we understand sexual identity. Yep. We understand Instagram, Snap. We understand TikTok. We know how to do it all. But when it comes to this faith that's in the heart of a kid,
right.
These adults look at Jesus and say, I don't understand.
Yeah. Right.
And he's like, don't you, it's about God here.
Right.
They're like, I don't understand that. What do you mean it's about God? And they don't understand God. So I want to throw that to your plate today about understanding God. What needs to shift in our culture and our thinking as religious people to where we begin to understand God and what that means to understand God in relationship to just, dude, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because I think the world is fishing hard.
Yeah.
They're going after the hearts, and they're going after, and I believe in every human, again, Ecclesiastes 3, God has put eternity there.
Yeah.
And the world blocks that.
Yeah.
That in this child, in this 12-year-old, there's this hunger for God.
Yeah.
I'm feeding them everything else.
Right.
But I'm not feeding them God. So talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, I think everything in our culture is essentially it's spoon-fed to us, from television to Netflix to social media to even our school system. All of the information, you don't have to go searching for it.
Right.
But if you don't understand God, even Jesus, let's go back to baby Jesus. And we've been talking about 12-year-old Jesus, but let's rewind back to Christmas Jesus. That Jesus didn't come and like riding on a horse down a rainbow with angels and trumpets, right? He came in a barn in the countryside. And even that, to me, is an illustration that God is looking to be sought out. That if you want to have an understanding of God, you have to go with some initiative and go search it out. That the shepherds and the wise men, they had to leave their comfort and go and literally search out the Son of God. And I think the same is true when you don't have understanding, when you don't know. You have to get out of yourself, pick yourself up, and go search it out. Whether that means I go and dig in the Bible, whether that means I go and find somebody older and wiser than me and sit down with them and pay for their coffee and pick their brain, whether it means that I get on my knees and I pray and I ask God, if you don't understand, you don't have understanding that I do have to get up outside of myself and dig it out.
I think that's why we may be in the place where we are, is somewhere in the last 15 years, we've moved Christianity from discipleship to experience.
Right.
I just want you to have feelings about God.
Yeah, right.
I want you to come to this conference and get giddy with this song. I want you to go to this camp and have a great time, right?
Right.
And really not understand the federal government doesn't care if you're having a great time in school. You're going to go or your parents are going to get arrested.
Right.
Just try to skip school and watch what we do. We'll come get your dad and take him to jail. Right. And my God, you're going to get these vaccines to go, and you're going to have to go because you can't get a job if you don't go. And this is what you're going to learn. We don't care if you like it or not. Matter of fact, you're going to learn about critical race theory, whether you like it or not, because we have decided that is what you're going to learn, because we're going to turn you into what we want to turn you into.
Yeah.
That's the world.
Right.
The church is, well, we just want you to come and eat some pizza and hang out and have fun. Right. We don't want to say anything. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
I mean, rather than, and this is what I'm trying to really do with my life, especially here at Believers Church. I've talked with you about it and several other leaders of, we want to have a plan of, if you come here, this is what you're going to learn. Yes. This is how you're going to grow. Yeah. This is who we are. These are the expectations. Right. It's not just come here and live any way you want to live, do anything you want to do. And I think that's what Jesus alludes to when he says, man, I'm about my Father's business. What are you talking about? I have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What do you mean, God? What do you, I don't even understand what you're talking about with God. And so here's adults who go, I don't even know what you mean. And a kid going, I know what I mean.
Right.
That's flip-flop today.
Right.
And yet today, rather than us really focusing on the God of younger people and discipling people, we focus on flesh and emotions and fun. And, just because in theory, there's nothing really romantic about discipleship.
No, right.
I bet to most 12-year-old boys, there was nothing romantic about sitting in the temple with a bunch of old people talking about Yahweh
Right.
and prophets and scriptures, having no food, nowhere to sleep, no girlfriends with you,
Right.
just alone by yourself.
Right.
There's nothing romantic. And I think we've romanticized God. We want you to come. We want the temperature to be right, the ambiance right, the
Right.
music just right, the smell just right, the everything just right, the noise, the music, the vibe, because I think we have to do that because we've so downplayed the power and majesty of God that he's not appealing anymore.
Right.
So that's my thing. So throw the question up today and let's look at what the question for Wednesday. What do you do when you don't understand God?
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah, right.
So what do you do when you don't understand God? When we say God has a purpose for you, when we say the Lord has a higher plan, what do you do? We'll give you a few things. I'll let you think of one or two, and I'll give one or two. Here's mine. What do you do when you don't understand God? One, you hunt down people who do
Right.
understand God.
Yeah, right.
Two, you make effort
Yeah.
to understand Him. He might not just sneak up on you. What I've tried to do in my life is surround myself with people that inspire me, that, man, they've lived it, I want to live it. What suggestion would you have for people that don't understand God?
Yeah, I think what you said, the first thing I would do is just natural is find people that have been what I'm struggling with to get their understanding, and then go to Scripture and see what God says about it.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much. Hang out with us tomorrow. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a great day.